Hello, Region Americas. I'm here today to talk to you about a milestone that we reached here recently. First, I want to talk to you a little bit about some of our past history. In 1983, the Kona Corporation, which was the elevator company out of Finland, acquired the assets of the Robbins & Myers Hoist and Crane Group. At that point, we did about $14 million in sales in Region Americas. With that acquisition, it actually took the entire global crane group within the Kona family to about $60 million US. I set that stage because I want to talk to you about a few milestones that we've reached here. Shortly after that acquisition, as we began the service business, we started setting objectives. One of the first objectives that we set was that we wanted to be #1 in all the markets that we competed in. I'm happy to say that we have accomplished that in the Alpha brands through the Hoist Manufacturers Institute with R&M. They've been #1 now for several years. We've accomplished it in the CMA on both single and double girder cranes where we're #1, and we've also accomplished that in the field service group. The first 5-year plan after we started the service business, we wanted to be about $10 million US. At the end of that time, we were actually about $12 million. At that point, the entire group, cranes and hoists and everything we had, was somewhere between 30 and 35 million US. And Chuck Van Arsdell, Chuck was the CEO of the Robbins & Myers, or the president of the Robbins & Myers Hoist Group. And he was the person, quite frankly, that we really need to give the credit to setting the foundation for the success of Region Americas. Chuck was given the instructions by the president CEO of the Robbins & Myers Corporation to liquidate the Hoist and Crane Group because we weren't making any money. And as Chuck put it, he needed a job, so he went to Europe and he found a buyer. That buyer happened to be the Kona Corporation. Kona Corporation acquired the assets of the Hoist and Crane Group from Robbins & Myers in October of 1983. About $3 million purchase price using local bonds, and I would say that looking back at it today, it was a pretty good investment. And Chuck and I was sitting here and talking, and we were setting some long-term objectives. We said, well, let's $100 million. How long is it going to take to hit $100 million? We actually thought it would take quite a few years to get to that point. Back then, the P&H Crane Group was somewhere between 180 and 200 million in sales. When we set a target for 100, we weren't looking to be bigger. P&H was clearly the market leader in Region Americas, but we wanted to try to be, let's say, up into the the noticeable. At that point, we were still #7, #8 in the hoist industry. All right, so we had a long way to go. Amazingly, we hit that 100 million pretty quick. One day, I was sitting in the office of Chuck Van Arsdell and Stig Gustafsson. Stig was the president of the Crane Group at the time. Now, as we all know him, he's our chairman of the board. We had a conversation, and Stig asked me this question. He said, Tom, he said, how big do you think this thing can really be? And I thought for a minute and thought, well, Stig, I believe that we can do $1 billion in sales at least before I retire. Chuck kind of got a little bit of a chuckle when he looked at me and said, Tom, good luck, because I'm definitely going to be retired by then. Stig looked at me and said, that sounds like a pretty good target. Off we went. Now, I kind of tease about it, but maybe it was just by coincidence, but 2 days later I was asked for a drug test. So I'm not sure how confident anybody was at that point in time on what we could do. But what I did know was there's a huge opportunity in our region to grow. When we set these objectives, sometimes some of these objectives can look pretty far reached. In fact, in 2005, I looked at it and I put actually a date down when I thought we could hit the $1 billion mark. And that date was actually in 2014, this year. I'm here to tell everybody right now, congratulations, because we, in fact, even with the SAP and a lot of the things that we had going on last year, we hit in 2013 $1.019 billion in sales in Region Americas. Congratulations to everybody. This is a fantastic accomplishment. I'm not sure how many people really thought that we could do something like this, of this magnitude. And even myself, you set lofty objectives, you hope they're realistic. The fact is they were, but how did we get there? It's real simple. It's you. We've got a great organization, a great team. We have a good model of what we do and how we conduct business. You got us here. Where do we go from here? Well, every year at the sales meeting, we just completed our sales meeting here recently. I set new objectives and new targets of those we reached. Well, we reached the $1 billion mark. Now, we haven't reached number one in all the categories, everything that we do here today. As an example, we're not number one in MTS. We're not number one in chain hoist, light lifting. We're not number one even in the port business in all product lines. So we have other areas that we can continue to grow. In fact, even though we're number one in standard cranes, single girder and double girder cranes, the fact is the market share that where we're at today, there's significant opportunities to grow. We've got some product gaps there, we all know that, and we're filling those. We've got projects within the corporation that will help us fill some of those product gaps and capture more market share. So as I evaluated this, I looked at it and said, okay, how much growth can we truly do in, let's say, the equipment segment, these segments that I know we're not number one, and what we need to do. Just growing in those areas that I'm talking about here, excluding service, the growth opportunity is over 700 million additional sales. And by the way, that's growing at a rate less than we currently do today, and we have over the last 30 years. Over the last 30 years, our compound annual growth rate is somewhere between 16 on a conservative side to almost 20%. During this time, there's been 4 recessions. I came here 34 years ago, actually April 7th, and I came during a recession. I've had 3 recessions since then. 2 of those 3 were the highest growth years in the history of our group. One year it was 38% during a recession, another recession it was 55%. In those 34 years, we've had 1 year of negative growth, and that was 2009, and it was a recession that none of us have ever experienced in our working lives. When I sat down and looked at these targets and said, okay, if we can hit another 700+ million in the equipment side, what can we do with the service side? The service market is still a primarily closed market, and you know, we could talk about it. You know, is it 60%? Is it 70% closed? Whatever it is, it's very large. When we first started, we estimated that almost 90% of that market was closed. If we take a very conservative number and say that only 60, let's say we only opened up 30% of that market. The opportunity to grow today is equal to or even better than it's ever has been. We've got technologies today that we didn't have when we started this business, and those technologies will help take care of the demands that our customers have in the future. What's our next target for sales? It's $2 billion. $2 billion by 2022, and that's 9 years. Some of you might say, holy mackerel, Tom. Okay, $1 billion. It took you, 30, plus years to get the first billion. Now you say 9 years later you're going to get $1 billion. I told you that 16 to 20% annual growth for 30 years. In order to accomplish $2 billion in 9 years, we have to grow at approximately 8%. That's half of what we have historically done over the last 30 years. Does the market support that? I firmly believe with all my heart that it does. We're in more markets today than we ever have. We've got the South American market, where really is still a new market. Really all of Latin America is a bustling market, and we're new to that market. A lot of great opportunity here. Those 700 million that I talked about, only a small part of that's even related to South America. So yeah, the answer is we can do $2 billion. In fact, my biggest concern as I sat down and evaluated this, I was afraid that I would actually make some people upset because I picked a low target. After the presentation, one of my managers came up to me after the sales meeting and said, Tom, I thought for sure you would go for $5 billion. Well, you know something? That's possible. And we can do it. And how are we going to do that? I don't expect the same people today to take us to the $2 billion. And what do I mean by that? Well, we're a lean organization. You're working your butts off today. I'm not throwing another $1 billion in sales on top of you. What we basically have to do is duplicate the organization. We need more technicians. We need more assemblers. We need more welders, more financial people, more engineers, more sales, more managerial. We need virtually all the different skill sets that we employ in this company. We need more. Where do we get them? Well, that's where I'm coming to you. Hopefully you have the pride in this company that you know people. Help us find those people. It's not the market. I truly do not believe it'll be the market that will restrict our growth. If anything, what can restrict our growth, it will be internal. We got here as a team, and I want to talk to you a little bit about that. You know, people underestimate teams and their ability and what they can do. We've had a lot of things going on in 2013 with this deployment. We've got the Origo, which is the SAP project. We got the CRM. We have the Mainman 4. All right, we've got new products out there, TrueConnect, SmartTon. These are things that we need for the future. You know, what got us here are our people. But you know something, we need to do something to take us where we need to go. And these technologies and this infrastructure that we're building, it will give us a firmer foundation to take this company and continue to grow where we need to go. But what happens when we do that? It causes a lot of anxiety because a lot of these are unknowns. And as you take a deployment like SAP, it's a difficult process because a lot of things have to be changed. When you start taking new products to the field, oftentimes they don't work 100% the way we want. So we have to fine tune those, out in the field in front of our customers. Our deliveries, as we know, have not been what we expect to our customers. You know, I've told people our acid test, if we have the right company, the right culture, and the right blend, is real simple. And that is, when you want a loved one to work in this company, when you want a son or a daughter, a brother, sister, anyone that you love, and you want them to work in this company, guess what? That's fantastic. We've hit the target that I've set. But if you say no, I don't want them because, I'm asking you, I'm asking you today, let's fix the because. We need to fix the because there's a lot of opportunity for growth. And there aren't a lot of companies out there today that do it. You achieved something, by the way. This $1 billion mark that you achieved, don't take it lightly. There's only $2 billion overhead hoist and crane companies in the world. You were the first one in Region Americas to reach that objective. And the opportunity is to take it further, to offer jobs and employment for your families. We need to make sure that we don't get so caught up on all the little issues that are inside of this company that we take our focus off of our customers. Because as soon as we do, our competition is going to be there to try to take them away from us. Today, we're being bombarded, in the media from our competitors, focusing on a key weakness we have, and that has been our delivery promises. We're going to fix that. Now, they haven't been advertising over the years about how much better they were until they found a weakness, and they exploited the weakness. And then guess what? Competition does that. And we have good competitors out there. But we'll fix it. And we'll get back and we'll make those products and we'll get them delivered them on time. In fact, we will beat our competitors' delivery and we will beat the quality they delivered to their customers, because that's the what got us where we're at today. And we're not going to bend on that one bit. But we need to continue to work as a team. And then we can have those opportunities. So I'm really excited about what we've been able to accomplish here. I mean, this is a career objective I know that I had set. And when I see it, I look at it and I'm very proud of this organization. You guys got us here. All right, you should be proud. I want you to be proud. We're going to give you a little token of appreciation, but it's a token celebrating the $1 billion. I want you to take, when you get this, I really want you to just take a minute and especially some of the people that have been here since the beginning. But those of you, maybe you just started. First of all, what you accomplished here, again, is a feat that no other company has done in Americas. And I want you to go back and look on some of the things that you're proud about and celebrate some of the successes along the way that you had. And I'd like you to do that as a team, as an individual, as a group. But we want another one of these coins here in 2022 that says 2 billion. And we can get it. All right, but what we need is you. And we need a duplicate of you. And we need to continue to work as a team. Guys, I could sit here all day and continue to thank you. You don't know how much I appreciate what you do. I don't get an opportunity to talk to everybody like I would like, but it's with sincere appreciation that I thank each and every one of you for the hard work, dedication that you've given over not just these 30 years, but the people that you just got here, that you're doing today, and the hard work that everybody's persevering to go through today to make this company a better company. There's a few other people that are going to be following here that would like to also extend some congratulations to you. I also want to talk, I touched base a little bit about Chuck Van Arsdell. I invited him to come to San Antonio to talk a little bit about the history of our company, and Chuck was able to come. And truly was a highlight for me, and I think many of the people when Chuck showed up. And he gave what I believe is the best presentation that I've ever heard him give in my career. And many people have said the same thing. And we're going to share that with you. I really encourage everyone, young and old alike, to go back and look at this, because he gives a really good explanation and definition of how this thing all happened. He's the man that we all really can be thankful that he set the foundation that we could make this into a billion-dollar company. So, without further ado, I want to thank you all. Have a great day. Continue to be safe out there, and love you all.
Yeah, I would like to congratulate everyone in Konecranes Organization Americas on behalf of the board for achieving this very, very important milestone of $1 billion last year. Incidentally, I started myself in the group 1982, just 1 year before we ventured into America. So I have very, very good memories of all the development that has now come to this fine milestone. Together with Chuck Van Arsdell, who was the boss at that time, and now Tom Stoddard, we have shared a long journey. But the journey continues. I know we are now setting new goals, new milestones for the future. I wish you all good luck.
Dear Konecranes Americas team, congratulations to the fantastic milestone of $1 billion in sales that you have achieved. I am so grateful to you, because volume and growth has been a key challenge that we have had in the group, and you have certainly done your part. I have to say that the American team has always had a special place in my heart. I started in Konecranes in 2004, and actually my first meetings in the whole company, when I started my first working day, I was not in Finland. I was in meetings in Springfield. In my first working day in the beginning of August 2004. I remember in those discussions that August, Tom already mentioned about the 1 billion ambition, and it did feel quite remote at that time. Since those days in 2004, the Americas team has always been a solid performer. Of course, the P&H acquisition in 2006 was a very important milestone that boosted our growth. I remember we had a lot of interesting discussions about whether to integrate the organizations or keep them separate. Now I believe that we all agree that it was the right decision to integrate. Together we are much stronger. And among other things, that acquisition and the integration has created a very strong foundation for us in America. Your team performed very well even in the recession 2009-2012. Actually, you guys are always so optimistic and positive that you never even admitted there was a recession. But as we know, there was, and it was a pretty severe one. But you did well even then. But the best part of it all is that even though you have now reached this 1 billion milestone, there is still potential to improve. I feel that we are still giving far too much business to our competitors. We can improve a lot in our supply chain execution. We can improve in our project execution. We have still a lot of new products and services in the pipeline some of which will be launched already this year. We are still fairly small in Latin America. So hopefully we will get help from the strong American economy. It's actually looking quite promising at the moment, but what I'm saying is that a lot of things are in our own hands. Keep up the good work. Once again, congratulations for the fantastic achievement of 1 billion. We will have new milestones. Tom will be talking a lot about them. I will not set any financial targets for you. That will be Tom's task, but I'm confident that whatever they are, you, the entire team in Americas, will reach them. Thank you very much, and once again, congratulations.